Hello, friends. Ready for another jailbreak. The Ragtags are set to bust into a Fey fascist stronghold to rescue the Tabaxi brothers, Answers and Jewel, and their pixie friends, the irreplaceable Dimple Mist and Lily Speck. So, are you ready to hear the rest of the tale? Then let us commence. After waiting in an abandoned building for night to fall, the Ragtags proceeded to sneak through the Twilight Ascension, what this sprawling authoritarian industrial prison prefecture in the Lord Shade's Gloom Mill is called. Casing along the large wall of the security complex, the Ragtags luckily discovered a maintenance tunnel that allowed them to sneak under the wall. Handy if you can find it, eh? But I suppose when you have a giant wall, it's probably necessary to have tunnels and the like to help keep them maintained, yeah? Perfectly logical and realistic explanation. Yes, quite. Varys used a locate object spell to lock onto Jewel's tunic, and it pinged nearby. Just as the Ragtags were sneaking their way through the grounds, a door opened in a large security building they were walking along, and they ran into Dimple Mist and Lily Speck, who were coming out of the building. Apparently, the two Garda pixies had been captured, but managed to free themselves with their usual wit and skullduggery. Having been separated and thrown into nasty jars for a while, the pixies weren't sure where the Tabaxis were, so everyone continued to follow Varys' lead, as it was the only one they had. They entered the building where the trace of Jewel supposedly was, and found it oddly empty. Considering this was a high-security quarter, there didn't seem to be much security, heavy or otherwise. It was as unsettling as it was welcome. The Ragtags came upon the cell block where Jewel was being kept, and after taking care of the lone guard, they burst in and found the Sealy agent Tabaxi a little worse for wear, but alive, and definitely ready to make a getaway. Meanwhile, Lily Speck and Dimple Mist had managed to rescue Answers from his cell, and soon the full and true Ragtags team were ready to go. The Pixies told everyone that after they had escaped, they had witnessed the bulk of the prisoners in the Panopticon Prime being loaded on trains and shipped north. They had also found tunnels and tracks under the building they were currently in. Everyone assumed that this foreboding transport was part of whatever ritual Val'Rilyn was attempting to bring his mother, Gwyn Wynne, back to life. Quickly deciding to head north, using a train if they could, the Ragtags descended into the tunnels below. Soon they found a train car and, using a code cylinder they had found on one of the fascists Regal had killed, got it started. It was just then that they heard a familiar voice, asking if they had room on the train for a few more passengers. It was Devrina. My word. I truly did miss that resolute fawn librarian personal assistant soldier woman. She had come looking to rejoin with the Ragtags after things in Sylvania, thanks to the rift, had become worse, and it was reaching a point of no return. And she had brought others. Or, well, they had brought her. Stepping out from behind her were a huge, beautiful white Fey hound with golden antlers, and, well, the familiar face and voice of Nimnillion, Archfey and Spiritor of Action from Sylvania. That's, good, I guess. Right? Nimnillion explained that he couldn't just sit back and let Sylvania be destroyed, especially since he had, well, quite a lot to do with it being sucked into another dimension to have its arcane energies plundered and used for a dark Fey ritual. Really, though, it was mainly that the Liber Lunae Infinitus, the vaunted encyclopedia of all things Fey, had just so many disparaging passages about him and his place among other Archfey that he truly wished to be remembered as something more substantial, if not heroic and inspiring. And so here he was. Along with Devrina and Nimnillion, there were several of Dimple Mist and Lily Speck's fellow Garda pixies. Ah, yes. Well, isn't that exciting? Let's see here. There was Cricket Twirl, and Hazel Muddle, and Quick Shadow, as well as Giggledove and Pepper Pearl. Wonderful. Asking the train's arcane-powered assistant enough leading questions, the companions were able to figure out where the prison trains were headed. With everyone on board, the Ragtags took the train out of the Twilight Ascension, bound for a place known as Ruins. Charming. Nimnilian explained that flashy magic like teleportation might bring too much attention too soon from Val'Rilyn, so they should save those sorts of things for when they were really needed. Instead, the gregarious Archfey opted to help by keeping their train invisible, and, eventually, giving it a speed boost. Within 2 hours, the heroes had arrived at their destination, and with Nimnilian weaving a pass-without-trace spell around them, they left the station. Outside was more of the gloominess of the Gloom Mill. Nearby, there was a line of trains stuffed full of psychically subdued prisoners, leading up and just away from an impressive ruin on a hill. Stealthily, the heroes followed the line of trains and found them all heading for the same dark terminus. A tunnel that disintegrated the cars, and all those inside them, using the arcane energy released, carried there through strange conduits, to power whatever was going on in the ruins. Well, that is truly horrific, full stop. Just then, everyone received a message from Vilena, who explained that she was hiding nearby, and that Val'Rilyn and his forces were combing the area looking for her. She also said that she wasn't ready. Then the connection was gone. The Ragtags sabotaged the tracks, and terrifying Soul Siphon, or whatever it was, and followed the arcane conduit up to the ruins. The rift, which was now beyond enormous, was directly above the ruins, and energy could be seen tumbling and threading down from Sylvania on the other side of the portal. It didn't seem like there was much time at all, really. Quickly devising a plan, Varys instructed the pixies on how to blow up the conduits as a diversion, and told them to wait for a signal. With that, the Ragtags snuck into the ruins and looked inside. There they saw Val'Rilyn, as well as many of his soldiers and inquisitors guarding a pit where the energy from the sky was being directed somehow. It seemed that the Soul Siphon energy was a separate part of everything, as the conduits also led to the pit but weren't part of the Sylvania portal energy. Oh, what? I don't know how any of this works. It's Fey technology. You just have to know that something bad is going to happen if they don't stop it, right? With that, the Ragtags prepared for what is probably going to be their toughest battle yet. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should pause here since this next bit is probably going to run on for a good span. And well, most likely have a lot of tragedy and death and crying and whatnot.